Joe Biden, right before leaving office, just pardoned his own son, Hunter Biden, despite saying that he wouldn't do so for a long time now. Stick around to find out more details. So let me share my screen and we're going to take a look at the statement from Biden himself. Statement from President Joe Biden. Today, I signed a pardon for my son Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the justice system decision making, and I kept my word even as I have watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted. Without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they failed out a gun form. Those who were late paying their taxes because of serious addictions but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties are typically given non criminal resolutions. It's clear that Hunter was treated differently. He says the charges in this case came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election. Then a carefully negotiating plea deal agreed to by the Department of Justice unraveled in the courtroom with a number of political opponents in Congress taking credit for bringing political pressure on the process. Had the plea deal held, it would have been a fair, reasonable resolution of Hunter's cases. No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son. And that is wrong. There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. And trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me. And there's no reason to believe it will stop here. Enough is enough. For my entire career, I have followed a simple principle: just tell the American people the truth. They'll be fair minded. Here's the truth: I believe in the justice system. But as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process, and it led to a miscarriage of justice. And once again, I made this decision this weekend. There was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision. What jumped out at me is, phrases like, I believe raw politics has infected this process. This has only happened because of who this person is. Sounds pretty familiar, right? Because that's exactly what people have been saying about Trump's conviction. Interesting the way that works. But then we were told in that case, nobody is above the law. And yet, in the case of Hunter Biden, evidently the Bidens are above the law. Well, let's take a look at what Biden has said previously about this and then also get a few reactions from various people floating around now on Twitter as people are commenting on the situation. Let's take a look at this one. Just a few moments ago, or months ago, I should say, Biden promised everyone that he would not pardon Hunter. Of course, he was making these promises when he was running for a second term, right? Now that he isn't running for a second term, that's when the pardon comes. But okay, let's take a look at what he says. And let me make sure, by the way, that y'all can actually hear that, because I don't want to play the video without the audio enabled. Okay.
As we sit here in Normandy, your son Hunter is on trial, and I know that you cannot speak about an ongoing federal prosecution. But let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
As we sit here.
Okay, so he says he'll accept the decision no matter what it is. He's ruled out a pardon, and yet clearly that wasn't the case. Here's another case where he says this.
Question regarding the family. I'm extremely proud of my son Hunter. He has overcome an addiction. He's one of the brightest, most decent men I know, and I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him. Question regarding the family.
He said on multiple occasions he won't pardon him. We also see, he says elsewhere, this was on May 31st, 2024, no one is above the law. And I have seen some people posting that Community Notes has corrected this and shown that, in fact, the Bidens are above the law, it would appear. I don't see that Community Notes here, though. So I don't know if that's a real Community Notes thing, or if that's just a joke that people are circulating on Twitter. You never know, right? Because sometimes, reality is a joke. So I don't know if this is a joke or if it's real, but yeah. So here's a press secretary over and over and over saying he's not going to be pardoned. So stop asking.
President pardon, or second one, would the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear and I said no.
Let me go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Again, you've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying it would not.
It's still a no. It's still a
It
no.
will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no. And I don't have anything else to add.
It's still a no. It's not going to change. Stop asking. Except it did change. Except that no turned into a yes. Yeah. This is why, people did not choose Biden for a second election. Because they know they are being lied to constantly by Biden and this administration. Well, what's her response now? Some people are asking in the chat. I don't know. I haven't seen her. MIA today, it would seem. Although Benny Johnson is noting that special counsel David Weiss rejects Hunter Biden's bid to dismiss his indictment, saying a pardon doesn't erase the charges. And so he's going over this document here, just released today. Don't know if that's going to hold water. Not exactly sure how that's going to work. Seems like the president does have the ability to pardon people in such cases, so I don't know how the special counsel is going to argue that this doesn't hold water, but we'll see. I guess that's going to be now contested. So maybe there will be some kind of pushback, but again, I don't know if this will actually stick. Let's take a look at a few reaction videos. This one is by CNN. Scott Jennings evidently took a blowtorch to Democrats over Joe Biden's pardon of Hunter Biden. Let's see what he says.
Joe Biden is leaving office making the strongest possible case for Donald Trump that anybody could possibly make it, and that's that our government and our justice system is of, by, and for the elites and nobody else. He ran to banish Trumpism from our political system in this country, and he has left it politically and now institutionally the strongest possible political force in this country. It is a complete and utter failure by the head of the Democratic Party and the President of the United States. Never again do I want to hear, oh, Donald Trump's a liar. You can't believe anything he says. Donald Trump will abuse his power. Donald Trump will only use the system to benefit himself and his family and so on and so forth. Never again. I have one question for Karen, and that is, why did he need an 11-year blanket pardon going back to 2014 when Joe Biden was the vice president? We are sitting on the biggest cover-up of who knows what crimes, and Joe Biden amazingly knows exactly, roughly, when it started. He knows just about when it all started. He's leaving office in complete and total disgrace. He is a liar, and there is no other way to spin this today. This has nothing to do with Trump and everything to do with the character of Joe Biden.
And that's on CNN. And yes, going back 11 years, that's what really shocked me when first looked into it. That's pretty insane. And that is pretty specific, right? So you do wonder what all is being covered up here. Let's take a look at this reaction here. Joe Walsh blasts Democrats, saying the argument against Trump is now deflated after Biden pardoned his son Hunter.
See, I told you so. They're all like that. So the next time any of us complain about anything Trump does, this pardon is just deflating. For those of us who have been out there for a few years now yelling about what a unique threat Donald Trump is, for Joe Biden to do something like this, Trump, nobody's above the law, we've been screaming. Well, Joe Biden just made clear his son Hunter is above the law. Donald Trump lies every time he opens his mouth, we've been screaming. Joe Biden repeatedly lied about this. The politicization of the justice system, Donald Trump and his people have been screaming. Well, that's exactly what Biden said here.
Joe, is this a politics of purity? I mean, we had Donald Trump pardon Sheriff Joe Arpaio during his term, and there wasn't a lot of hue and cry about that. And this is a father who saw his first wife killed, his daughter killed in a car crash, his two young sons survive. One goes on to have real difficulties with addiction. Another dies because of cancer. This is a family that's really troubled. I mean, yes, he said he wasn't going to do this, but did anyone ever believe that that was the case? I mean, I would have put good money on this happening. Like, are many people going to be surprised?
Did she really say, did anybody ever really believe Biden? In other words, you have to just go ahead and take it for granted that the guy's a liar.
a father who is also the president would do this for his son?
I don't know that people will be surprised because you're right. Joe Biden repeatedly said he wouldn't do this. So he repeatedly lied. But this just furthers the cynicism that people have about politics. And that cynicism strengthens Trump because Trump can just say, I'm not a unique threat. Everybody does this. Mm-hmm. If I do something for my kid, my son-in-law, whatever, look, Joe Biden does the same thing. I get it, but this was a selfish move by Biden, which politically only strengthens Trump. It's just deflating.
Yeah, I agree. It does make Trump look better right now, doesn't it? Here's Harry Sisson, always with the L takes. Every single time. Let's watch his L take here.
So let me just get this straight. Republicans are upset that Joe Biden pardoned Hunter Biden, but they also voted for a convicted felon who pardoned his buddies while in office. Is that not just hypocritical? Got it.
This dude, every time he always has the worst takes. I don't know what his deal is. He is pretty ridiculous. But I do have a question for y'all. I want to hear from y'all. I want you to put it in the comment section because I want to get your thoughts. So thinking through this issue, a president has plenary authority and power to give full pardons to pretty much anyone, including family members. And he can give an unlimited amount of full pardons. Doesn't that sound like we're giving too much power to one particular person? Where's the checks and balances here? This doesn't sound balanced. Doesn't seem like we have some checks here. It seems like the president wields way too much authority here. Again, unlimited doesn't have to, it's not the case where it's like, okay, you only get 10 of these. No, you can do as many as you want. And full pardons, not just part of the conviction or sentence, but the whole thing. And there's nothing that Congress can do about that. It seems like there's way too much power here being given to any president, not just Biden, but anyone. And even in the cases of family members. I mean, this is an absolute disaster. And I'm pretty sure we knew that this was a disaster waiting to blow up in our face. And yet here it is. Seems like it's too much power for one person. There needs to be some more checks and balances here. But that's just my opinion. I want to hear from y'all. Of course, put your answer there in the comment section. Do you agree with Biden doing this? Do you think it was a slimy move? Or do you think, well, hey, you know, I'm a father. I would do the same thing for my children. I want to hear from you. Put it in the comment section. And don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless. Are you seeking clarity in the midst of confusion about Eastern Orthodoxy and Catholicism? In my book, Answering Orthodoxy, I offer a biblical and historical response to the most common objections that Eastern Orthodox offer against the Catholic Church. This book is for anyone searching for the truth, whether you're Catholic, Orthodox, or simply trying to make sense of the differences between Catholics and Orthodox. Order your copy today and discover the rational, biblical, and historical basis for the Catholic Church. Visit Amazon to order your copy today. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and if you want to support the channel, visit patreon.com/Reason and Theology.